actually,
I think it's just made me. I think I just went without like action, I guess, for so long that I was just like, all right, like porn is how you do it. So, and yeah, you just get lonely all the time.
You get used to it,
because I know there's a lot of guys like me out there that feel like a worthless piece of shit, and I just want to help people like realize that you can change.
Matt, I asked you to come today to talk about a few things, okay?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Number one,
Let's go.
or in no particular order, dating life, no Fap, stuff like that. I sent you a video earlier today about the whole no Fap thing, the great porn experiment, a TED Talk, one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time. What were your initial thoughts of that video? And was there anything in that video that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah. One of the main things that really stuck with me about that video was the symptoms of kind of watching too much porn. One of them, they kind of gave like a list of stuff. It was like ADHD, OCD.
You're like, check.
Yeah, literally.
Check.
I was like, oh, I have all of those. Okay. Another thing was the correlation just between like other addictions. So like I've trouble like managing my weight just because like I have trouble with self-control when it comes to food. So I kind of realized that there's a bit of a correlation. Like one probably goes hand in hand with the other. My self-control issues when it comes to like.
So it's just a self-control issue, basically, is what you're thinking? Like
pretty
discipline?
much, yeah. I don't think it's like a porn addiction per se. I think it's just a self-control issue. When I feel an urge, I just do it, kind of.
It's a habit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So I feel like if one reason I really want to get into this like 90-day, whether or not I do 90 days or not, just however long it takes to kind of start seeing results. I'm hoping that not only does my sex life kind of improve, I'm hoping I'm able to use that to make healthier like eating choices, so I can find self-control in that aspect of my life.
So would this be day one?
Yeah, today would technically be day one. Yeah.
Cool.
I tried it a little while back, but I felt like I didn't have any actual motivation. I kind of have some motivation now. I met somebody, and one thing led to another, and it got to a situation where I wasn't able to perform
During game time? Yeah.
during game time. So now I kind of have that incentive where I want to make her happy. So I want to do whatever it takes to not be in that situation again.
Do you normally always try to make others happy, whether it's not even just sexual, but just like, are you a people pleaser type person?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a better way that we can think about this in terms of like doing this more for you and not less so for them?
I definitely want to do it more for me because, naturally when you spend so much time on the internet, your brain gets into such a negative mindset. You just get so much anxiety when you watch videos every day. So I want to clear my mind in that kind of aspect. Like I want to kind of just live life. I don't want to be so like in tune with my phone, especially with like sexual experiences. I want my only sexual experiences to be ones that happen to me, not just like some bullshit on the internet.
For sure. What do you hope to see actually at the end of this 90 days for yourself? Like what changes do you think you'd like to see in like whatever it may be, whether it's your personality, things that are happening in your life, things you have in your life, things like that? What do you hope to see?
My biggest thing is I want to have a drop off in anxiety. Like I want my anxiety to really go down because it's pretty bad right now. I think just quitting will give a little more like clarity and just I don't know.
Because you say you kind of go through a lot of things, right? You say you have like ADHD, you know, some BPD, anxiety, Like, do you think really that like, because I mean, these are big things that people are like diagnosed with, people are medicated with, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Do you like? I have a suspicion, but do you feel like if you were to do this 90-day NoFap challenge and that you would actually get past this, do you think you can actually, do a lot of good to kind of, I don't know if you're going to be able to get rid of all these things, but like really reduce its effects on your life?
I think so. Because I do feel like ADHD and addiction of some sort can really go hand in hand. Because, like, ultimately, ADHD is just a need to have constant dopamine, which is no different than, like, someone who smokes cigarettes. They just always have a need to smoke that cigarette. So, I'm hoping by training that part of my brain, my attention deficit I'm hoping by training that part of my brain, not only will I develop kind of a less addictive personality, I'm hoping I'll have less of a need for constant dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be, because right now, obviously, I think the ADHD definitely makes the addiction like worse, just any addiction worse. But I'm hoping while like strengthening those muscles, they can kind of go hand in hand.
What do you think it's going to take for you to be successful at like 90 days? And it's okay to relapse. Like I've talked to people all the time who've relapsed. Even when I did it for the first time, I relapsed like several times. Like, what do you think it's going to take for you to complete this 90 days?
I think just staying busy, honestly. Because once I'm up, like I'm up. I only ever feel the need to like watch porn when I'm just like chilling in my room, right? So,
how do you plan on keeping busy?
Well, right now when I wake up in the morning, I just lay in bed and watch YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. So it's like that's not
one
very
video
productive.
Leads to another video.
Yeah, it's not very productive, right? So I don't know. I probably have to like just develop a morning routine, I guess, whether it's working out or whatever. I think that could really help out a lot. Just keep distracted. Because ultimately, there's no way I'm going to be able to, like, fight. I don't want to say that. Sounds weird.
No, it's fine.
There's no way I'm going to be able to kind of counteract how I'm feeling in the moment. You can't just rewire your brain, but you can distract it with other stuff. And then eventually, the rewiring kind of
Yeah, I think what might help is that you just become more aware of it, or this is what helped me, is that, like, when you feel like you have the urge to watch porn, you become aware of that moment. You're like, okay, now I'm triggered, basically, right? And I think this is going to help with a lot of the other stuff, the ADHD and everything too, and anxiety for sure, because anxiety is very trigger based, right? So like when you feel that need and you feel like that urge to want to do it, just be like, okay, ooh, I feel something right now. I feel like I want to do it. And then you start asking yourself why. Like, am I just bored? Like, did I get triggered by something else, right? Because for many people, watching porn, masturbation is like a defense mechanism or a coping mechanism for things that they're going through in their life. They consider it like stress relief. Some people even say that they need to, masturbate before they go to bed or ejaculate before they go to bed so it helps them sleep better. These are all the stories that you're making up in your head when it comes to like the role that porn plays in your life. Mm-hmm. Right. So you have to be able to have awareness to what those triggers are and that role that it plays so that you can, and that's what you mean by the rewiring, is finding a different role for either porn to play into your life or finding something else to play that role for you. Right. What is, How old are you right now?
25.
You're 25. Okay. Yeah. So when I started suffering with like that performance anxiety and like having ED in like my early 20s and stuff like that, like I remember it being like very, embarrassing, of course.
Yeah.
And like it's funny because like my friends would joke about it, and like when they would joke to older men about it too, who we were hanging out with, they're like, "What do you mean? Like I'm 50 and I still don't even have that problem, right?" So like that was the humiliating part for me because I was like, oh my God, and it made me feel like I was alone. That's why I started making content about it, because I wanted people to see if this is really a problem to them, if this is something that people resonate with. Yeah. By the time I made that content, I was 30. No, I'm 37 this year. I was only 26, 27 at the time. That's when I made the content. And by that time, I had already been suffering with like ED in my 20s for like years, right? I didn't know what the fuck it was. I didn't know if it was physical. I didn't know if I had to like go get fucking Viagra and shit, Cialis, like at that young of an age. it actually doesn't help because it's not a physical problem when you're that young, right? Physically, you can get hard, no fucking problem. But it's 100% a mental thing, right? So you can't actually fix ED in your 20s by using like Cialis or Viagra or anything like that. So this is what brings a lot of people actually to this world of NoFap, right? So it was those feelings of embarrassment, of course, that pushes you to want to actually do something, right? So I'm glad you actually had that. Do you want to go a little bit deeper into like how you felt during that moment and like why it's really wanting to you to make a change? Like,
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, really, it was just like more the mental part of it freaked me out. It wasn't so much like, why am I not feeling anything in this moment? It was more like, is this never going to be enjoyable for me? Like, am I like past the point of no return? Yeah. But I don't think so, because there was like a moment there where I was able to kind of like, I was trying to like slow down my breathing a little bit. And
just half-mast.
Just like kind of relax a little bit. And then it was starting to, it was starting to get better. But eventually I was just like, all right, let's just not do that right now.
So, okay, so I also find it interesting because you're 25 and I'm like a bit more than a decade older than you. We had talked about this, but it was about like growing up actually with high-speed internet porn and like not having anything else, right? And having that be like really detrimental.
Yeah.
I think like even for me, like I grew up, there was a big part of my childhood where like my adolescence where there was no internet or there was no computer at home and stuff like that, right? So I couldn't do that myself. So I at least was, theoretically better suited than your generation to deal with this.
Yeah.
But then you imagine like our parents and like our fathers and stuff like that, grandparents, like they grew up with just like Playboy magazine, if anything, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they had to go
or Sears catalog, you know what I mean? Like that's their fat material basically. Or they're basically just using their imagination in the shower and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's interesting. But like, have you reflected on it? Do you think it's actually going to be harder for you than it was probably for me or anybody older than me when it comes to rewiring your brain? Because I think the most like, and we were having to talk about this earlier too, and just to be as explicit with our just humor and just how to describe it as possible, right? I was telling you that there's no vagina or mouth that's gonna be as tight as your hand, basically, right? So you're basically creating like this weird physical experience for your body that your mind is associating with sex, right?
Yeah.
And so when you actually go and have sex now, it's like completely foreign. There's like smells you weren't anticipating, you know what I mean? And just other things like that. And it just doesn't feel the same. And there's somebody there now, and you know what I mean? It's going to be completely different. So,
yeah.
Do you think there's validity to all of that?
No, that definitely makes sense. Yeah. It's just when you get used to one thing and you're not used to the other thing, you're just like, this doesn't feel natural.
So it's rewiring, but it's also like learning too, right? Like
yeah, exactly. I think it's
relearning.
Just
you need to take that?
No, it's fine. Yeah, I think it'll just be just teaching my brain to want the real thing more rather than the fake thing.
Do you think like no fapping and like abstaining from porn, do you think that's going to make you want the real thing more?
Probably, because like if I have no way to like relieve those feelings, then actually doing it is gonna help do that.
How harmful right now do you think like porn is to you, your psyche?
I don't want to say harmful.
Kind of, in my opinion, it is. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's just,
or can be harmful. Can be very harmful.
Can be.
Yeah. It's still. I think
it's just made me. I think I just went without like action, I guess, for so long that I was just like, all right, like porn is how you do it. So, and yeah, you just get lonely all the time.
You get used to it, and you don't need it really if you're just taking care of yourself in that way, right? Like where's like the primal instinct to go look for women, I guess, or to go.
I think anxiety definitely made it worse because once I figured out that like it helps ease anxiety, I was like, oh, okay, well,
who the fuck says that, man? Honestly, I don't think that's fucking true at all. I think it actually
in the moment it does.
Yes,
it's like a it's like any drug, right?
Yeah.
Like long term, obviously, it doesn't help. But like in the moment when you're like having a full on panic attack and you're just looking for any kind of relief, like
imagine you having a panic attack and they're fucking like paramedics show up. You're like, turn me off now. I need it.
Exactly.
Like emergency fucking jack off session. Yeah, but like honestly, yeah, but it's again, it's I think it's important for men to learn delayed gratification and discipline, right? We were talking about discipline before, because if you can discipline yourself in that moment and not need it to soothe your anxiety, just take your time to breathe, like you were saying before.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think it's gonna help much more. So to me, it's like I did the NoFap thing, and like I'm aware of the effects of porn. I do think it's mostly bad. I'm not gonna say that I haven't watched porn or I don't watch porn anymore, right? I've actually stopped like very significantly over the last decade, but I've become a lot more aware of it, right? Knowing that like, okay, this is something that like can be harmful for me over time, like smoking shisha or like even smoking a weed vape or something like that. You have to be able to control your relationship to the substance, basically. And that's what addiction really is, right? It's not really the substance itself. It's really always your relationship to the substance, right? That's why some people can drink alcohol socially, and some people can't touch a drop of alcohol because they'll just fucking completely fall off the wagon because they don't have the, I don't know, the self-control or whatever it may be, the relationship, a healthy relationship with the substance. Yeah. So I think the same thing for porn. I think you need to really realize like what this is really doing to you, possibly how it's affecting the way you view women or treat women, the way that you program your reward system in your head, you know what I mean? Of working hard to actually attain something versus to get dopamine versus something that's so instant, easy to get dopamine. All right. Sometimes I describe it as you have like a cocaine machine in your room, basically, and it's free. Yeah. All you gotta do is press the button. Yeah. Right. How many people are just gonna keep on fucking press that button until it just fucking consumes their entire life, right? Yeah. Right. Men, of course, have like a cool down period, but you can easily end up jacking off like 3 to 5 times a day. You know what I mean? Like that becomes really bad for your brain and motivation and stuff.
And
like
eventually, like the more you do it, it's like then when you go to actually perform, you have nothing left in the tank. Like there's nothing left to.
If you even get there, right? Because again, you can have so much anxiety and so much like. No motivation to go and look for women or just talk to women.
No, for sure.
In any way, then like you're not gonna really do that ever. You're gonna end up like fucking like incelled and shit. You know what I mean? And I hate to fucking like I know incel is a word that a lot of people talk about a lot and shit like that. And I've never been a type of person in any situation, regardless of incel or anything like that, or just like stand on one side and just point and just be like you're fucking evil. You know what I mean? Fuck you people. People deserve to fucking die. Like to me, it's like I try to understand why people are going through what they're going through and like what led them, what are the steps that actually led them to get to that point. Because like if we can stop them from getting to that point, then we can stop a lot of people from getting to that point. And that's the work that I hope to do when it comes to men, and that's why we're even having this conversation, because like I actually feel like I can help with my experiences to help you through these 90 days. Yeah. And just knowing how strong of an effect it could actually have on your life.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I'm most excited for, you know. It's just like just the positive effects.
Yeah, what are you excited for? Tell me. Give me a list.
Just the mental just less anxious. Like I just so tired
What
of
is less anxious you look like?
Just not afraid to like.
What's he doing? What is the less anxious Macross doing?
Well, you know,
what activities?
Not getting nervous when like the opportunity comes up to like do something, you know.
What is doing something?
Like in the bedroom.
Oh, in the bedroom. Or even just getting there. Like, I mean, just even approaching.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just like feeling the need to just like go out and meet somebody because it's like, oh, I don't want to, you know. So.
You mean like the social aspect? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. And just like having that extra kind of testosterone that helps you be more confident.
I think a lot of it's going to be the testosterone, the biological stuff that's going to help rewire your brain in a certain way that's going to help you. But there's a lot of inner work awareness that you're going to have to do to think about how you feel out there and like being more confident. Because being more confident, yes, physiological thing, but also very, very mental, limiting beliefs, mind programming thing. Like, I remember that one time we were watching wrestling and shit like that, and you're like, fuck, man, look at Cody Rhodes fucking going out there, super fucking confident, wearing a suit. Yeah. Right? So picture yourself, I guess, like as like, you know, Cody Rhodes going out there in that suit, the energy he has, the confidence he has. Like I think that's super. I think that's what you would like, right? Like that really confident
Yeah, just like
alpha
who gives a fuck
kind
man.
of, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I think it's definitely
And
gonna
I
help
think
you.
well, actually, you know, even if with like my stand up, right now I'm so afraid to make so many jokes because I'm just like, I don't want people to judge me. I don't want to be that guy. But then I watch someone like Shane Gillis. He just says whatever the fuck he wants, and it's hilarious.
Wow. Do you feel like you just watching too much porn and fapping is actually preventing you from actually saying the jokes you want to say?
No, I think it's just it's the confidence thing. Like I feel like building more confidence and feeling like I don't have to make everyone happy all the time. Like it's okay if some people don't like me, it's okay, I guess. Cuz I guess I'm just in this negative mindset where I'm like everyone has to like me. And it's very much a detriment to my comedy.
Shit. Oh, I wonder if this 90 days will help you with that then.
Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know.
We'll be checking back in like every now and then to kind of see how you're doing, and if relapsing is fine. Like if you can go from like we were discussing numbers before as to like how much you can actually fap within 90 days, and like how much you can actually reduce it, and like it'll be helpful, right?
Yeah.
Like so let's imagine like it's like 100 times in 90 days, right? So like a little bit more than once a day.
Yeah, I think a lot of that too, like what I just talked about. That's also a lot of like childhood shit.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
Well, I'm not saying like not fap is gonna cure all that shit, right?
No,
But it might bring.
I mean, it'll build more confidence.
Yeah, it'll bring clarity to all that stuff, and like you're gonna want it, and there's discipline, right? Imagine all this even just helps with discipline, self control.
Yeah, no, honestly, that even if it just helps me like lose weight, because like then I can take the discipline from this and associate it with food.
But do you want to be like a very disciplined person? Do you think it's important for a man to be disciplined? You think?
Of course, that's how you get anything done in life, right?
What does Matt Cross think is a man? Like, what does a man mean to you? What does being a man mean to you?
A man? Yeah. Just holding yourself accountable, doing everything you can to, you know, help your loved ones. Like, just making sure everyone in your circle's good, but also holding yourself accountable.
Okay. So
because you can't expect others to hold themselves accountable if you can't hold yourself accountable.
That's true.
Which is why I don't judge anybody. Like, anytime someone has an issue and someone's like, oh, that's kind of like whatever, I'm like, because I'm not perfect, so I know what it's like to like have issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
are you feeling accountable enough?
It wouldn't be fair for me to judge others because I'm not perfect.
Okay. So. Do you find like you're being accountable right now? Like, what's your level of accountability right now? You happy with it?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm in a place now where I wasn't when I was like much younger, and I'm proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to like kind of, one thing that I'm proud of that I'm able to do is I'm able to kind of check myself. If I feel myself becoming somebody that I don't want to be, I'm able to kind of check myself and be like, no, we're not doing that. And then I take steps to kind of get better. And BPD kind of gave me that clarity, like just getting diagnosed with it. Because I was able to be like, okay, you have this mental thing. It could possibly make you a worse person. I'm not saying anyone who has BPD is a bad person. But having that puts so many fucking negative thoughts into your mind. And I just kind of said, there's a lot of things that you're feeling. You can either choose to beat this or just like give in to all those negative thoughts. You know, for example, like one thing with BPD, you get more angry. Like it's easier to like kind of lose control of your like anger and stuff like that. And I used to let it kind of control me a little more. Like I would get upset in social situations a lot more. But I realized like that was kind of like pushing people away a little bit. I was like, and I was able to kind of check myself, be like, you're so fucking miserable to be around. And if you want to stop feeling bad about yourself, you're gonna have to like check yourself and not be like unfun to be around. Like realize that nobody's against you. Like this is all in your head. Like just kind of realize that.
I think I asked you what your definition of a man was. Basically, you just described it, and I liked it. It was accountability and stuff like that. Do you feel like you're a man right now, or how much of a man do you feel like right now?
Because I know there's a lot of guys out there that feel like a worthless piece of shit, and I just want to help people like realize that you can change. Like a lot of people are just kind of give up on ever changing. It's like no, you can change. You can get more confident.
I think you have a good vision ahead. I think you see clearly. You have a good level of self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
That you can begin from and start from, because at least you can understand what you're going through and what needs to change, what needs to happen. I think a lot of people need to get even to that point, right? Still a long way to go, but like you're at a good place right now where you can use that self-awareness to kind of guide you going forward.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I know all my issues, I kind of know where they all stem from at this point. It's just about like having the discipline to do something about it.
So it's the discipline. So focus on the discipline. Like what I see is like when so many people try to make a big change in their life, they try to change too many different things at once.
Yeah.
Even when you say you want to work on your porn addiction and food addiction and stuff like that, to me, like that's a lot to work on at once. And like that's why a lot of people quit right away. Is like they do too much and then they stop. So I always like suggest pick one particular part of all of that. Like probably the main most important piece of that, which you actually mentioned over and over again, is discipline, right? So just work on, at this point, being more disciplined with whatever you can in your life, right? So whether it has to be disciplined to not jack off, discipline to, try to, exercise maybe, once a week. Give yourself like low, reasonable, attainable targets, right?
Yeah.
So like when you hit them, you can feel proud about yourself and you can kind of keep going.
Right.
That's the most important thing, is progress, seeing progress, right? Like that's what keeps people like eventually working out all the time, is because they want to see that progress, or they quit.
Yeah.
Right? So having that and building that discipline eventually, slowly by slowly.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part, is like every time I go to the gym, I get so like into it. I'm able to like lose like 20 pounds at a time, and then I'll have a family dinner where I just have like a bunch of food, and then I'm not able to work out for a few days. Before Christmas, I started my weight loss journey at 220, and before Christmas I got down to like 210 or something like that. And then after Christmas it fucked it up.
Yeah, you just got to get back in the habit, right?
Yeah.
You can't let those couple of days slip.
I've gotten from like 230 to like 197 before, but it's just I always just get to a point where I'm just don't continue and I put it all back on.
Yeah, it's the discipline, bro. Like the discipline could keep on going with it. And another thing that I think is a really, really good tip that I can give to you right now is to find something that you're good at, like something you enjoy doing that you're good at. Maybe it's guitar or something like that. Like whatever you do that you're actually proud that like, yeah, I'm fucking good at this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Find it and do it. Because the more, and try to have fun doing it, right? That's the combo. Because if you can get all three of those together, then you can really begin to grow your confidence, because like you're already putting yourself in a state where like you're good at something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So find whatever that is. You probably already know what it is. Just try to incorporate more of that into your life as you take like fapping out of your life.
Right. Yeah.
You got to replace it with something more healthy,
for sure,
right?
For sure.
Yeah, competitive, because these are things that like help get like men's juices, testosterone going. There's like competition, like sport competition, whatever it is, right? Like strength competition, whatever, you know what I mean? Just like men pushing each other to be better. It's a very important part of being a man, I think, like biologically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things like that are helpful. Stick with it, and the more you go, the more self-aware you're going to be, the more things you're going to work on, the more things become a habit, discipline, right? Lifestyle changes, right? It takes like slowly, very, very slowly. Yeah, for sure. I know you could do it though, but like, and I know, like, if you really, really want to change your life, right, and you really want to get to a place where like confidence is less of an issue, anxiety is less of an issue, that you can actually start realizing like what your life is really supposed to be like and look like, the way that you've always wanted to and the way you've always dreamed to.
Yeah, it's
gonna take all of that discipline, having a better relationship with women, like not fapping anymore, cutting off, you know, food addiction and stuff like that. Like these are all big habits to fix and whatever, or like to kind of overcome whatever. But like you got to remember what the end goal is, because it's the life that you want, right? And it's a big fucking deal, bro, to like have the life that you want. A lot of people do not have the life that they want. They're always chasing after the life that they want.
Yeah.
But, and I know it's hard to picture it, and it's hard to feel what it is, or even understand what it is. That's why I asked him, like, what does Matt Cross look like when he's 90 days from now, and like, you know, more confident, you know what I mean? Like, are you wearing the Cody Rhodes suits? You know what I mean? Like, are you just, you know, you're able to talk to women out there, you know, women are talking to talk to you, whatever it is, picture that. Yeah. Have that picture very, very strong in your brain, because that's how you're going to attract it.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. There's a lot to, honestly, it's a fucking lot, dude. Yeah. And it took me like, for me, it took me like losing my kid and like, you know, getting divorced and like everything falling apart to really start putting things back together. So consider whatever you just went through as like a very low part for you. Like, and just so that it's so low that one day you're going to look back and you're going to be like, fuck, I'm glad I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I never want to be in that position ever again.
Yeah. So
whatever that is, make that like your anchor point, like, you know what I mean? Your why point, and then just go from there.
For sure.
Yeah. Because rock bottom is important. Suffering is important. Having shit happen to you is very important.
Yeah.
Suffering.
Yeah.